Welcome to Expose and Express Live. And here are your hosts, Jenny Umali, Bernz Bayabo, Jill Siebenbroek, Rochi Disagan, and Daniela Nastasi. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Expose and Express Live. I'm Jenny Umali.
And I'm Bernz Bayabo.
And so we're here today to talk about the safety first and safety always. And, honestly, it has been very, very sad for the Californians, and not just for the Californians, but also like some
The
other
West
states. Yes, the
Coasters, yeah.
West Coast as well. So I just want to say that we have collectively been experiencing a shift in the world that we're all living in today. So, less than 48 hours, we here in California experiencing almost bronze from the wildfires that are currently spreading. And we are really praying for all the people who got affected and was damaged. And of course, we also want to honor our firefighters who are really seriously sacrificing themselves, their time, their energy, and everything that they can
Their
give.
personal safety.
That's right.
Yeah.
So without further ado, I actually want to say thank you to our guest for today. And I know that, firefighting can be very emotional and physically demanding, but an extremely rewarding one for the right candidate. So I want to welcome Mr. Demond
Demond Simmons.
Yes, thank you so much for being here, sir. How are you today?
Good, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know that's, you know what, I actually just contact Michael if he knows someone who can actually be one of our special guests for today so that we can talk about what's really going on here in California now and what are the best things that we can really do to prevent and give advices. And also we want to know more about you, sir. I don't know. I feel like I should call you sir.
I don't know why she's calling you
Yeah.
sir. You want to address you as sir or Demond?
I would prefer Demond.
All right, perfect. So first of all, I would like to ask you, what really inspired you to become a firefighter?
So for me, my route into the fire service is atraditional, and I say that in the sense that most individuals in the fire service, they were encouraged by their fathers, brothers, or uncles who are firefighters. For me, back in 1990 and 91, when I was just getting ready to graduate from high school, I was quite unsure what I wanted to do in life other than go to college. So my first semester in college, I was a business major at the school I was attending at the time. This was all pre-internet and all that other good stuff. So I was at work one day. I was at the time I was a sky cap at the San Jose International Airport, and I was looking through a physical schedule, which I don't think they produce anymore today. Everything is online. And the school I was attending, they had a fire science program. I saw the words fire science. I was like, wow, this seems interesting. Keep in mind, growing up, I lived behind a fire station, had never went inside the fire station. I was never fascinated by fire engines and fire trucks. I think once in my entire life, we called 911 growing up for a small fire at our house. But nevertheless, I was never fascinated by firefighters. And it wasn't until I saw that advertisement for a fire science program or course at the school I was attending. And so at lunchtime, I went down to the campus. And once again, this is pre-internet, so you couldn't register for classes online. And I enrolled in the introductory class. And 5 years later, I was hired with the Burlingame Fire Department, which is along the peninsula. And then 2 years after that, I moved over to Oakland, where I've been a firefighter for the last 20 years.
Oh.
That's nice. It's very interesting.
Is there like some kind of special preparation for a career like this?
Yeah, so most folks at a minimum they go to EMT school because a large part of what we do is provide emergency medical care. So EMT school, paramedic school, which is an extension of EMT, just a little bit more difficult in terms of the material and more responsibilities. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's the traditional route. We encourage folks to now enter the fire service to have at least a 2-year degree. Uh, Not
Oh,
required at the entry level, but it
Mm-hmm.
does help you as you go through the civil service exam process because the position is rewarding. There's a number of people who are trying to get into the fire service for
Yeah.
very
mhm.
few positions. So the
Yeah. Do
more
you
experience,
think? Yeah. Do you think we have lots of firemen now? Because I'm really curious because I don't have any idea about firemen, firefighters, or whatnot. I remember the only time that I had experience with firefighters was when we called 911, and one of my client actually need to
Needed
go. Yeah.
medical emergency,
Yeah.
and she had like one of those magic mic moments when the firefighters were jumping out of the fire trucks.
Yes, it was surreal. Like, I'm like,
She was like,
seriously. Yes. So actually, one of my question, I know that is like maybe like beyond, but one of my question is that do you really need to take good care of your body like that beautiful? You know, are you like really seriously? Like, wait! Don't laugh. This is serious. I kid you not. I've never seen a body like firefighters even when I go to the gym. Like I so I'm always like thinking like, dude, are they like really are you like obliged to have that kind of body?
I,
so firefighters they come in all shapes and sizes: short, medium height, tall, athletic, slim, muscular, slightly overweight. You get a la carte of all. But to answer your original question, yes, we are required to stay in shape because of the demands and responsibilities of the job.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because honestly, like I'm so surprised. Like when I saw this fireman like walking towards me, and I was like, seriously, I thought I was watching Magic Mike. I'm like, oh Lord, is this happen? Like, and then I saw you. Of course, I have to stalk you and check your photos. And I'm like, yes, this is real.
I am so sorry, Demo. I am so sorry.
But I'm sure I'm not the only one who's really curious about that, right? I'm sure you always get a lot of like, compliment like, oh my gosh, Demon, why do you have that kind of body and whatnot? Is that
Yes,
right?
that
Okay.
bigger
I'm
body.
just curious. I was just curious. So since talking about body, okay, so you have already mentioned that you need to really like maintain certain types of like body so that you can be healthy and
Correct.
whatnot. So when you're not, so it's part of your job to really maintain the body. So what do you do when you don't have any work or you don't have any
There's no
emergencies?
call. I think
Yeah.
that's what she meant. Like what because you're mostly like in the firehouse, but there's not. It's not very common to get calls
Yeah,
right
oh,
away.
yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah, so
so
we do have a few stations that are very busy, so they don't have a lot of downtime. But generally speaking, we have a lot of downtime. So during that downtime, it varies in regards to
Mhm.
what individuals do with their time. Some individuals they work out and maintain those good bodies, as you
Mhm.
explained earlier. Other individuals, they some are in school working on their bachelor's degree or master's degree, so they're studying. Some individuals, they're training and practicing basic firefighter skills so that we can maintain a high level of competency. And
Mhm.
then we have other individuals who are studying for promotional opportunities. So right now in the Oakland Fire Department, we have an upcoming lieutenant's exam, which is an entry level supervisor, and then we have a
Mhm.
battalion chief's test taking place right now, which is a mid level position. So a lot of folks are busy doing that. So we attempt to make the best use of our downtime to be productive as possible. And then, of course, because we are at the at the fire stations for 2 consecutive days, 48 hours,
Wow.
at a minimum, there's time to sleep and other things that you would do at home as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, like considering now that there's so many wildfires happening, what do you think? What would you suggest people prepare themselves with? You know, for their own personal safety, like to let our viewers know how they can protect themselves, how to react when something like happens, like really close by.
Yeah.
Uh, you know.
So good question. So I'll answer that on two fronts. So going back to your original, the early part of your statement where you made reference to the vegetation or wildland fires that are going on. Here in Oakland, just like most other places in the Bay Area, we're in an area that we call WUI, which stands for Wildland Urban Interface. And what that simply means is that we have a lot of homes now in areas that were once secluded or isolated, and there were no homes. It was just nature.
Yeah.
So what we recommend for folks who live in areas that are highly populated by vegetation, trees, and brush, and other types of natural wildlife or natural plants and things of that nature that are also fuels in the sense of fire and combustion, is that we encourage those individuals to maintain what's called a defensible space around their house. So if there is a fire, that defensible space will hopefully prevent fire and fire embers from coming in contact with their particular property and catching on fire. Then also we encourage individuals, like last few days we had what was called red flag days, where we had extreme weather conditions, extremely hot, and the humidity or the relative humidity factor was relatively low, and a moderate amount of wind, which are all factors that could start and help sustain a fire. With a combination of a number of factors, is to be cautious and to be careful when you're out and about. If you're at a park and you're cooking, be cognizant of that. With fireworks, all those things, while they are a source of entertainment and fun, they can lead to some type of calamity. So those are some of the things that we encourage for those individuals who live in what we call wildland urban interface. And then for folks, like myself and many others who live in just your traditional environments where you're surrounded by homes and you have trees out front, but you don't have a mass amount of vegetation, is to make sure you have smoke detectors in the house. We encourage that. We also encourage folks when they're cooking to not leave food unattended. And then we also encourage individuals to have smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in their home to act as early warning signs or indicators of a potential fire of some sort. And then last but not least, we encourage folks, if there is a fire in their house, to not necessarily attempt to put the fire out, but to call 911 and immediately exit the building and shut all doors. And the reason why we now encourage individuals to shut doors is to prevent oxygen from coming into the house to help sustain that fire. So that's kind of our latest campaign, is when people exit the house as a result of a fire, is to shut the door. And what that does, it helps starve the fire so it doesn't have a sufficient amount of oxygen coming from outside that can help with the continuance of the fire and the eventual spread of the fire. So that's just a short laundry list of things that we encourage individuals to do in a preventive manner, and then also some things that we encourage individuals to do when a fire of some sort takes place.
Well, I'd love to hear more of that, so to prepare people who actually experience it. Like, we were driving around in San Francisco, and there's in North Beach, this building just was engulfed in fire.
That's scary.
And it was a huge
I've
fire.
never seen like that.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah. Well,
we're fortunate that we don't have fires like that often.
Yeah, definitely.
Both here in San Francisco and Oakland and San Jose, those are the three largest departments here in the Bay Area. And so we're definitely fortunate there that we don't have fires of that sort on a regular basis, because bad stuff happens as a result of fire. Lives are lost, property is destroyed, and then possessions that that they can't necessarily replace.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I really have to be honest with you, and I have to tell you this, that 2 days ago when I woke up, it's already like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I saw
Oh, the
outside
pink
that
sky,
there's
yeah.
are you I was so scared. I thought it's doomsday. Like, what is going on? It's already 8 o'clock in the morning, and
Yeah,
it's still so dark.
I
And
remember that day vividly. I woke up because I was teaching. I think I believe that was either Wednesday or Thursday. Actually, I think it was Wednesday. And
yeah,
yeah, that was definitely an anomaly. And hopefully we won't. Hopefully we will not have a day like that again. But what that was a combination of basically, the fires, and I think last report, over 3 million acres in the state of California have or are currently burning. So that played a role. And that smoke travels. So those fires, I'm not sure where in the Bay Area you guys are, but that there are some fires that are in proximity to Oakland,
Mhm.
where I'm located, and then there's some fires that are at a distance. So yes, that was all smoke coming from fires throughout the state. And like I say, because of that amount of acreage that was had or was currently burning, that resulted in some of the conditions that we witnessed on midweek and towards the end of last week.
Yeah.
that's right. Well, I want to introduce to you Nathan. He is also one of our co-hosts, a guest co-host. Nathan, meet
Hello.
Demond. Yeah, he's in the
Hello, nice
Philippines,
meeting
so it's
you.
8 o'clock in the
Okay,
morning.
so,
No,
Sorry.
we're actually in Walnut Creek, so we're not too far away from Oakland.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, it was crazy. Yesterday I drove into San Francisco and you can't see the city at all from, I don't know if it was fog or
mhm,
smog.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
crazy. It was crazy. The air quality is just like super bad. Everybody should really be wearing masks when they
oh
go
yeah,
out. It's just crazy. Don't even think about riding your bike without mask or running outside without mask. There's so many
yeah.
particles like flying around from, the ashes. It's crazy.
That's right. Because I usually like here in the house when I saw the sky is really dark, I stopped saging. I love to sage. I'm a spiritual healer. So I love saging the house to release all types of energy. And I was like, I don't care now about those negative energy, but I don't want my house to get burned. So I stopped using sage just to prevent, fire, because it's so traumatic. It's so traumatic. So is there anything that you would like to suggest, like especially like we know you've talked about like safety already. So what if like, okay, I have to tell you, we are near the trail and people are like walking and smoking at the same time. And
Oh,
it
I hate
really,
that.
yeah, I don't like it when I saw them smoking. I mean, I
And
don't care
sometimes
if they
they just
smoke.
flip the
Yes.
bud like right there by the trail. I'm like, dude, like pick up your bud.
Yeah.
correct. Yes. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we
So what
definitely,
about
yeah, we
that?
encourage folks, if you're out walking about and like you said, along trails to one, not smoke and then flick your cigarette butt on the side out in the vegetation, because while that may seem innocent in nature, or something that's not
Yeah.
going to cause something to happen, all it takes is that small little spark. And if you look at a lot of these fires, especially these vegetation fires, the ones that are not started naturally by lightning of some sort or some other type of weather related phenomenon, it's something innocent in nature,
Sorry
cooking,
Mm-hmm.
barbecuing,
for
or
being
fireworks,
Mm-hmm.
or smoking a cigarette, or someone having car issues and they pull over the side of the road and they park under vegetation, dead weeds of some sort. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
something that can cause a lot of havoc.
Another thing also, I think like uh I remember there was when I was a child, like I had like this magnifying glass
Mm-hmm.
where I would put it like on a piece of something and it would catch on fire.
Yeah.
And so like glasses or a reflection of
Yes.
something from a car probably
It's very dangerous too.
could spark
Yeah.
fire
Right.
maybe. So
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
all
good
it
morning. Yeah.
all it takes is something small. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be something big to as the serve as the instigator.
That's right. Good morning,
Good
Nathan.
morning, you guys.
Yes,
Sorry
how are
I'm
you
a
today,
little bit
Nathan?
late. It's a very beautiful day here in the Philippines. Super nice, super sunny. Always grateful for that. Hi, Demond. I wanted to ask something. Um, in our fire department here, firefighters have 4 days on and 4 days off. How will you and your family manage a non-traditional schedule? Like irregular schedules can usually be taxing on a family and can make managing home life stressful. So this question is like intended to confirm that me as a job seeker has given some thought to managing a non-traditional work schedule and
Yes.
has the support of his family and friends.
Yeah. Yeah. So very good question. So here out in California, most firefighters they work what's called a 48-96 or 2-4 schedule, work
Okay.
2 days, 4 days off. And
Mhm.
there are some places that work the schedule that you just mentioned, and it has both its benefits and its downfall. So one of the things that I would encourage individuals to do, especially if you are in a relationship prior to you getting into the fire service,
Mhm.
is to have a candid conversation with your significant other and explain to him or her what the schedule is like. Explain to him or her that there are going to be some important days that you may have to miss because the fire department is 24/7, 365.
Mhm.
Now, most fire departments, we once you have completed probationary period, you can do something that's called trading on or trading off. So let's say
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
my birthday is on June 14th and I'm scheduled to work that day. If I can get someone that who he or she can work for me, then I'm off that day. And so there are some allowances that are in place that if you have a special event, an anniversary or trip or something like that, to
Mm-hmm.
make it happen. But it happens, and what I found just talking to other firefighters who were already in the fire service when they got into a relationship. At first,
Mhm.
once it seemed pretty straightforward, not a big deal. You're working 2 days, okay, you're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
gone for 2 days, but then you're gonna be off for 4 days. We'll have 4 days
Mm-hmm.
spent together, and then life takes over, work takes over. That 2 days turn to 3 days, 4 days. Like right now,
Mhm.
out in the vegetation fires, those
Mhm.
firefighters, some of them are gone for like 2 weeks straight.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Oh
You
my
know,
Oh
goodness.
wow.
working. So
Wow.
to answer your question, I encourage folks is to have that conversation with your significant other and say, this is what I'm getting ready to enter. There are a lot of pluses to the schedule, and then there are a few minuses to it.
Mhm.
Once you're gone
Mm-hmm.
for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and something happens at home, the water heater breaks, or there's an issue with your wife or your husband or your
Oh
girlfriend
my God.
car,
Mhm.
they kind of have to fend for themselves, unfortunately. So,
There's
but it
always
happens.
there's just always supposed to be a balance when it comes to it, I guess,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good
Thank
question. I really love
you.
your answer. I really love your answer because it's really important for you to also have, time for your family,
Correct.
right?
Mhm.
It gives you strength as
Always.
well.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you for that.
Do you experience any like big issues like in fire services?
Now, when you say big issues, anything in particular?
I I don't know, like issues that interfere with like, being able to do your job efficiently or I
Yeah,
don't know.
so, yeah, there. Sometimes you don't necessarily have all the resources that you need to carry out your job. Other times, when you're dealing with interpersonal issues or interpersonal challenges at work among
Mhm.
colleagues and subordinates, sometimes that could be an
Oh,
interference. And then other
Mhm.
Mhm.
times, when you are, because of the nature of the work that we're dealing with, and sometimes we don't always have all the right information or enough information to help
mhm.
us put out or deal with an emergency of some sort. So those are just some situations you have to deal with. But
Hmm.
Through rigorous training and education,
Mm.
that lessens the likelihood of us being able to do our job.
Wow.
I have another question. This is so I'm like I try to be a Girl Scout. I
Mm.
try to be prepared. Like I
Mm.
have extra batteries, like lights and whatnot, in case of emergency. What can you advise our viewers to have at home that to have an emergency preparedness kit? Like, what are
Correct.
the essentials do we
Mm.
need for that?
Yeah. So the things I would recommend is for folks is to have enough water for at least 4 to 5 days. Bottled water, and these are all items that you can store in your garage. So bottled water, non-perishable food items, flashlights, portable radios, with batteries, and cash, flashlights. Those are the
We should
essential.
be writing this.
Yeah.
We
Those,
should be
those
writing all this. Yeah.
are the
So,
essential.
Demond, yeah. So, Demond, 2 days ago, I know that you were busy and yet you still said yes to our invitation for
I
today. And we
know.
were supposed to do this yesterday, but I know that you're so tired. Can you tell us what you did? Like, I didn't really heard you that well when you told me that, hey, I'm so busy right now. I need to go or something like that. And then it excites me. I'm like, oh my God, he's so
Maybe
busy.
there's a fire or there's
Yeah.
some kind of emergency.
I remember, if I'm not mistaken, you were having this training, something like that.
Correct. Yes. So Friday and Saturday, I was out in Southern California in San Bernardino. One of the certifications that I have as a firefighter is ARF, Airport Rescue Firefighting, or Aircraft Rescue Firefighting. And so every year as part of our FAA requirement, we have to go to this 2 days of training. So I was out at San Bernardino Airport along with 16 other colleagues, and we were doing some driver training, and we were doing some simulation exercises to mimic extinguishing a fire involving an aircraft. So that's just one of many reoccurring education and training exercises that I have to participate in to maintain certification, but more importantly, to maintain competency.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So we had a friend over a few days ago, and he's from San Bernardino County, and we were actually like getting updates from his family because there was a fire there
Mm.
in Forest Hills, I think.
Yeah.
And so when you said San Bernardino, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe he was fighting fires over there.
Yes,
Because
that's
it was
right.
a big one. It was really close to their home. So
Yes, that fire is called, I think they're calling that the El Dorado fire. I
yeah,
believe
El
that's
Dorado.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
El Dorado fire.
what was interesting. The hotel we were staying at, they had some fire crews that were at that fire. They were on their off day, so they were staying at that hotel. And we didn't see any signs of fire. However, the air quality down there was not as bad as it is up in the Bay Area, but it was very noticeable.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All
And
right.
it was an overcast / that smoke that was
Mm.
preventing the sun from peeking out. So yes, so that's
Yeah.
just one of, I forget the total number of active fires that are in progress, but yes, that's the El Dorado fire.
It's pretty crazy to think like the whole like West Coast is just on fire. Even Pacific Northwest, Washington, I just found out it has some fires happening in Tacoma as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vegetation there as well. And then
I
there's
believe there's another fire in Oregon as well too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think is there anything like even the government could do like to help minimize or prevent that in the future, like preventative measures maybe?
Mhm. So there are a couple things that are taking place in terms of prevention / mitigation. In some parts of the Western United States, they do what's called fuel management, where they will clear out heavily dense or areas with vegetation, especially those areas that are near homes, those
Mhm.
vegetation that are that are dying or dead. They'll do that so as to reduce the amount of fuel that's able to catch on fire. So that's probably the biggest thing. And then not so much from a preventive perspective, but now from a response perspective, meaning something that's happened, is just ensuring that we have enough resources in the form of people, for firefighters, to help manage those incidents. But first and foremost, we always want to engage in mitigation efforts. Mitigation simply meaning things that we can do to prevent something bad from happening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're pretty good at doing that, but nevertheless, stuff still comes up. So
Yeah.
there is no perfect answer, and it all depends on who you ask in terms of what resources. If they could ask the feds to deliver,
Yeah.
some folks were
It's
focused.
really tricky because of how wide, you know, we need to cover for that preventative or
Yeah.
mitigation.
Correct.
Yeah.
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 They would have one question. Do you
Yeah.
still get scared, or like, is it scary
Mhm.
when you're already there?
Yeah. How do you
Because
Yeah.
prepare
yeah, I
yourself?
can't imagine myself like being there, because I have asthma, so maybe even before I get there, I'm already dead. But you know,
No.
yeah. Do you still get scared? Like, is your family or your children or your parents or your wife?
Family.
Yeah, do they get scared? And most of, especially you, like every time that you hear the bell, it's like, we're it's time.
Adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would say yes and yes. So my mom, every time she hears of a fire of some sort, she always, she thinks that I'm at that fire. So of course, your mother, father, they're always worried about
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
As it
Oh.
relates, I wouldn't necessarily say I get scared because I rely on my training and
Mhm.
education
Yeah.
Nice.
to lessen that likelihood of something bad happening, or to reduce the amount of anxiety or angst or apprehension that I have. But it's
Mm,
always in the back of your mind, because you can
mm,
go into a burning building, and something, you can do all the right things and something bad still happens. So
Mhm.
that's why we
mm.
rely on our training and our education, and we respect fire, and we respect the damage that it can do.
Mm,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Do you get emotional when you see like family or
Yeah. When
things
you're
like that?
trying to
Yeah.
rescue
Yeah.
somebody.
Do you get emotional?
Um, you know, to to some degree, because we're all humans, and
Mm,
we hate to see bad stuff happen. We hate to see kids and
yeah.
elderly folks suffer injuries or some other type of calamity. And so yeah,
Mm,
so when we go on those calls, and whether it's a 5-year-old kid who's hit by a car,
oh,
or someone who has perished in a fire, yes, there is some emotional suffering that takes place, but we still have a job to do, and we
yeah.
How do you take care of yourself when you go through that kind of emotion?
Yeah.
so we all deal with it differently. So for me, I have people that I can talk to about it. I talk to about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Exercising is a good outlet for me. Going on walks.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some of the things that I have found over the years to be the tools that I use to
Nice.
not allow the emotions and the exposure and the trauma
Yeah.
to have an
Yeah.
adverse impact on me, both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
I'm a,
being
I'm
able
a, I'm
to.
a meditation teacher, so I can teach you. Sorry, Nathan. It's your turn, Nathan.
It's like being able to separate yourself from the situation so that you're able to go back to work the next day and perform your
Correct.
100%. You know.
Correct.
So, what is your message to all our viewers today in terms of our safety with what's happening, like with the wildfires, or in general, safety in general?
Yeah. Once again, another good question, because as professional firefighters, we're advocates, we're educators. We're not just solely the ones who are there to respond when your house is on fire or
Yeah.
someone.
Thank you for that. Really, like, thank you.
Yeah. So,
Thank
Yes.
you for what you do. Is
Oh my
what you.
God. Yeah.
so the thing to
Everybody says.
my message would be is to a couple things. One, make sure you have smoke detectors in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Two, because now I'm going off some of the common contributing factors to fires. Having smoke detectors in the house, not leaving food unattended, or while you're cooking, leaving the
Yeah.
area, and doing an annual inspection of your home to ensure that there are no issues that could lead to a fire. And then those of us who live in areas where we're surrounded by wildlife and vegetation, is to make sure maintain a clearance around your house, and also making sure that your roof is clear of dead vegetation, because once again, the dead vegetation, those are all fuel sources. And
Yeah.
then, not least, having a plan for you and your family in the event of something happening. What's our plan? What's plan A? What's plan B?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Those are the things that we encourage folks to do.
It's like normal things that people tend to not do, apparently. Like, because I don't actually like have a plan for when something happens.
Correct.
So
Mm.
these are things that I'm actually like mentally writing down right now.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh my
Yes.
God, yeah.
So
So you
I
just
used to
literally
own
have to have a
a
plan.
I used to own a senior care home, and like every quarter we would have a fire drill
Yes.
Yeah.
just to prepare them. Like, okay, we have to do this at a certain hour. I'm going to ring the bell, and everybody has to evacuate. And we make sure that all the exit has a well lit sign that lights up when the power is out.
Yeah.
So I think
Exactly.
like having that kind of plan and practice at home, especially when you have little kids,
Mhm.
should be in place.
Yeah. Well, Damon, thank you so much. I know that you need to go somewhere. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes. We really love you. And
Thank
we
Thank
you.
thank you.
Thank
We're so
you.
grateful for your service and for you. And thank you for being here. I know that you're busy.
I
Very
have
much.
one last question before you go. I have
Yes.
one last question. Do you
Yes.
rescue cats from trees?
So, no, but I will say this: my very first call when I was a student firefighter in Morgan Hill, down in the South Bay, that was actually my first call.
How,
Wow.
how was it? I was saving a cat?
Yeah, yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah.
Well, we love you even more because we love animals. Love
Yes.
animals. Yeah, so Damon, like I said, thank you so much for giving your precious time for us and for, of course, for our televiewers and viewers. And I know that you're really busy. And is there anything that you would want to? Is there any events or anything that you want to add? Is there anything that
Promote.
promote, or do you have a business besides from being an amazing fireman?
Hero.
You are our superhero, believe me.
Oh, thank you. Well, no, if you guys know any individuals, especially women, who are interested in becoming firefighters, send them to
Mm.
Merritt College in Oakland, California. We have a wonderful fire science program where we prepare young men and women for careers in the fire service.
Oh
Mm.
wow! But you know what? I
Okay.
know someone. She's Christina Ree. She used to be a firefighter in San Diego, and then she stopped doing. She stopped working as a fire.
She became a kickboxing coach.
Yeah, and then she became a very spiritual life coach and a Reiki teacher as well, a healer. But you know what? She told us that it was a very good experience. If not only for her calling to be more highly connected to her spirituality, she would have stayed. But yeah, so that's actually,
Yeah.
it's a very nice invitation, because I think women deserves have to have a spot as well.
Yes,
And be
exactly.
like Magic Mike. Thank you, Damon. And I can't really
It's
thank you,
Demond.
Demon.
Thank
Demon.
you.
Yeah, thank you, Demon. I can't thank you enough for
Yeah.
your
For your time
your
and for what
time.
you
Yes.
do.
And I love when you're doing this.
We're up, we're
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I love your smile. All right. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, to all the
Thank
Facebook,
you.
yeah, to all the Facebook viewers, the YouTube, and on our website, uh, thank you so much for watching us. I know that we are in a hurry because this guy here
It's
is
very busy.
very busy and very in demand, and yet he gave us his precious time. To God be the glory. I'm sending you love, light, healing, and abundance. I'm Jenny
Bye.
Umali,
And I'm Bernz. And there's
Nathan. And thank you, Damon. Bye. I love you guys.
Demand. Thank
bye.
See you
you.
next week.
Thank
Bye.
you.